I'm Alex Gilbert, and I spent the first 2 years of my life in a Russian orphanage. In 1994, I was adopted
Sasha.
and brought to New Zealand. I had a great Kiwi childhood, but I couldn't help feeling like something was missing. So 8 years ago, I set out to find my bird family.
Pivot. Hello.
It was the best decision of my life,
Hello.
and now I help others do the same.
So how can I help?
I have tried to look for a family and I've had no luck.
Do you have any memories from the orphanage?
No, I can't remember a single thing.
Countless people across the world, just like me, want to reconnect with their missing families.
I'm really happy for her.
Welcome to St. Petersburg.
It's more emotional than what I've ever considered.
Good luck. Join us on these amazing journeys as we cross continents to see families reunited.
I'm on my way to Goa to meet Victoria Rundle. She reached out to me and the I'm Adopted community seeking help in finding a birth family in Russia, and I'm really looking forward to meeting her.
28-year-old Victoria grew up with her adoptive parents in Kerikeri in the Bay of Islands. Victoria made the move south more than 10 years ago to work as a herd manager on a dairy farm outside of Goa.
So I really enjoy my job. I'm just a very outdoor person. I love being outside and being around the animals, and I bring my dog out. I love being around her, and it's just something that I just always really enjoyed doing.
A classic Kiwi childhood nurtured Victoria's love of the outdoors.
Hey, Gil. Hello.
Enjoying it. Hey, enjoying it.
My parents here in New Zealand had a 40-acre lifestyle block. It was a really good childhood, being outside and being around animals, and yeah, you got to do so much. It was a great lifestyle.
Hello, number 2. Hello.
Not a lick in the face. No, thank you.
Rural New Zealand is a long way from the Russian orphanage where Victoria's life started.
I remember staying in an orphanage with a whole heap of young kids. We had a big room where we would sleep in together.
Up, girls, get up, get up.
And we wouldn't go outside very often because it was very cold. I was 5 years old when I was adopted from Russia. I don't really remember too much about my early life. My birth parents, I don't remember anything. I don't know what they look like. I have no memory of that. Just little bits here and there.
Victoria has many happy memories of family life in her adopted country, but she's always felt something was missing.
As I started getting into my teenage years and learning about myself and growing up and wondering where I was from and what happened, and just questions that have always stayed in my mind and wanted to find out. It's just always been there, but I haven't really known where to go or where to start or what to do about it. I've talked to my parents here in New Zealand about it, but they've just told me what they know, and that's it.
Victoria's adoptive parents, Shirley and Stephen Rundle, live on a small holding outside of Kerikeri.
I think your mum bought her
The dress.
that dress for her birthday.
In 1997, after a heartbreaking 5 years trying to have their own children, they decided to adopt. But it was much harder than they anticipated.
It became quickly evident that it was very difficult to adopt in New Zealand.
Finding it was almost impossible, they decided to look overseas.
A friend of ours in Auckland knew somebody who had adopted children from Russia. And we thought, well, why not?
And there's pros and cons around adopting internationally. Obviously, the language, the culture, the whole, is it the right thing to do in the sense you're taking a child from its home country? So we kind of worked through that, and then it was a case of, okay, we're going to go. And I guess we'd always wanted to have 2 children, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
That was part of it. The second was we felt that they would be a family. They had each other then, as opposed to
Just one child.
Just one child.
Yeah.
The couple adopted 2 children from Russia, Victoria and Alex. The whole process took about a year. Choosing them, however, was much simpler.
They sent us a medical report, and then they sent us videos. I think Vic's and Alex's were the first 2 children.
Вик, какие еще игрушки любишь? Маринка? Самоедчик, а? Самоедчик. Куколку любишь? Какая твоя любимая куколка? Покажи свой опись здесь. Какую все больше любишь? Вот это, ну-ка.
Victoria, there was just something about her, and I couldn't say no to her. Sorry, I'm going to start crying again. I was watching the videos again the other day and I was crying. I said to Stephen, there was something about her that just caught my heartstrings. I couldn't say no to her.
Victoria and her adopted brother had a happy childhood growing up in rural New Zealand. However, the Rundles were determined not to let the children forget where they are from.
In fact, the kids have always been aware right from the start that they were adopted.
We wanted the kids to know they're from Russia, they should be proud of that. And we tried to give them the background that we knew. At various stages, we would revisit this and we had the tapes and we showed them.
And we'd bring out the notes every so often and talk to them about it because we felt it was important for them to understand.
Shirley knows firsthand what it's like to be uprooted from everything that's familiar.
I was born in Trinidad in the Caribbean, and I grew up effectively. My mother died when I was 7, and so I left Trinidad and I went to live in Barbados, which is where all the rest of my family live. I have a lot. Look at me, I'm probably going to start crying. I do understand, when you take a child away from their birth family. I do have some understanding of that, yeah.
It's been far too long, wanting to do this for so many years. It would answer a whole heap of questions for me. It would make me feel complete.
I've made it to Goa, where I hope Victoria is waiting for me. So far, we only know each other through email.
Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Alex.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Good to finally see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
And your story that you sent through to me is awesome. It's incredible. And I'd like you to tell me about that story.
When were you interested in searching for your family in Russia?
Oh gosh, I've always been interested. Like, as I was growing up, I wondered bits about it and what happened and why and things like that. But I guess really over the last, my late teens and early 20s, that's when it really hit me.
What do you know of your birth family?
I don't know much at all, sorry. I know their names. I know where they're from. I've been told by my parents here in New Zealand that they were possibly divorced. I know I have a birth sister somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her. I don't even know her name. Yeah, not too much else, really. Just
small pieces
bits.
of information.
Yes,
Yep.
just very basic stuff, yeah.
Are your New Zealand parents supportive of you looking for them?
Yes, they are. They're very, very supportive. Mum, she's been very excited throughout this whole journey so far. She rings me up every day and sees how I'm going and how things are going. And
Every day?
yeah, so far.
That's a lot of support.
Guess so.
Guess so?
The other thing I'm kind of scared of is my mum here in New Zealand feeling like I'm not like rejecting her, but not kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but I wanted to make her feel she's still important to me if I do find my other family, so yeah.
Your mum and dad here are your mum and dad.
Exactly.
They raised you.
Yes, I don't want them to feel like they're not important to me. I do find my birth parents over there if I do find them, so yeah.
What would it mean to you to find your birth parents?
It would mean the world to me, really. It'd make me complete, I guess. I don't know, it sounds silly like that, but yeah, it just fill that missing gap for me. I'd be ecstatic, I'd be over the moon. I wouldn't know how to react, really. But yeah, inside I'd be so, so happy, yeah.
I think a lot of us who are searching for relatives or birth families, we always have to be prepared for anything that comes our way. You don't know what's around the corner.
No.
You never know what's going to happen. It can be hard.
I haven't quite mentally prepared myself for that yet, but...
What's the one thing you fear the most?
I fear being rejected by my birth parents. Yeah, them not wanting to know me, and a big fear for me. Mum, she says that if nothing happens, then you can at least say you've tried.
Let's see what we can find.
Yeah.
All of us adoptees know the fear of rejection. I know better than most the courage it takes to set a search like this in motion. There's not much to go on as I set about tracking down her birth family, but I'm determined not to let her down. The big question is, what will I find? I'm Alex Gilbert, and I was adopted from a Russian orphanage and brought to New Zealand when I was 2 years old. In my own journey to find my birth family, I founded I'm Adopted, a charity organisation that provides a support network for adoptees all around the world. 5-year-old Victoria was adopted from Russia in 1998 and given a loving home in Kerikeri with Shirley and Stephen and her adopted brother. Now 28, Victoria has reached out to me for help in finding the missing links in her life. Tamara, my assistant and translator, is helping me reach out to various Russian groups. All Victoria had to give me was her parents' names and her birth city, Severodvinsk. I didn't show it, but my heart sank when I heard where she came from. The port city houses one of Russia's most important naval bases, making it off limits to foreigners without a special permit. It's almost impossible to be granted access. This could be a huge roadblock to helping Victoria connect with her identity. I know how important this is for Victoria. I contacted the orphanage in Severodvinsk to confirm we had the right place and started reaching out to local community groups. I'm going to be calling on everything I've learned from my own experience of tracking down my own Russian family. Sooner than expected, I'm making the trip back to Goa with information that will be life-changing for Victoria. I always get anxious when I'm about to deliver news like this. I'm not sure how she'll take what I'm about to say. So I'm really glad Victoria has brought along her boss Jason for some support.
Well, I've got some news.
Oh, yes?
Yep, and do you want to hear it?
I do. I really do.
So we've made contact with your birth mother.
Oh, my God.
And she really wants to see you. Would you like to meet her?
Yes. Yeah. That's so cool. I never thought that you would get a hold of anybody. I'm so happy.
She's just very ecstatic and she's like, I want to see her, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go. I'll come with you, and we'll go and take that journey together, and we'll go and meet your birth mother.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. No, it's all right. It's all right. I understand it was very sudden.
Yeah. Wow. That means so much to me, because it's just been a missing part of my life the whole time, and hopefully she can help with finding maybe my sister, because I've been told so much about her, and I'd like to meet her, but
you'll get the chance
one step at a time.
You'll get the chance to ask her face to face.
Yeah.
So you gotta be all there.
Wow.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting, and I know for a fact she really, really wants to see you, and that's the thing that you really want to.
Yes, I do. Yes, so much.
This is really big news for Victoria, and she can't wait to share it with two special people.
Hello, Vicar. Oh, hi, Mum. I've got some good news, Mum. They found my birth mum.
Oh my goodness me!
Is Dad there?
Yeah, he's right here.
I'm going to Russia in 3 days.
You're going to Russia in 3 days? Oh, wow. That's such unreal feeling, is it?
I don't know what to feel. Just feel like things are falling into place finally. Yeah, it's something I can't really explain too well.
I know better than most just how nerve-wracking this journey can be.
I'm just so thankful that she wants to actually meet me. Like I said earlier, I just felt like that rejection.
That's the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not being, you know, wanted in some sort of way.
I know a lot of people that we all come out of the orphanage at a young age, and we always fear, oh, okay, maybe there's no point us trying to find our birth parents because they put us in there in the first place. But you never know what the circumstance was too. All those years ago, you just don't know. The big thing is she really wants to see you.
Wow.
She really wants to see you.
I don't know why she hasn't reached out.
Can be hard for it. She probably doesn't know how to reach out to you. It's been so long.
But I was in the orphanage for 5 years, and it's...
I know, yeah.
When I was in my teenage years, I thought about it a lot, and I did have a wee bit of anger, but nothing like that I'm gonna hate her or anything like that. I just was angry that I didn't understand why it happened.
But we should look at now and you growing that contact with it. And that's how things move forward and things, you can grow a relationship with it.
Yeah.
In 3 days, Victoria will return to the Russia she has not seen since she was 5 years old. She needs to solve the mysteries of her past and questions she has of her own identity. I just hope when the time comes, she'll get the answers she wants. I just delivered Russian adoptee Victoria Rundle some of the biggest news of her life. So we've made contact with your birth mother.
That's so cool. 3 days ago, I was working on the farm in Gore, and now we're going to Russia.
It's a journey of over 16,000 kilometers. After 35 hours of solid travel, we finally arrive in Arkhangelsk, a small city in the north of Russia that lies on the banks of the Dvina River. It's winter here and freezing cold, with short days and temperatures as low as minus 15 degrees. It's also the place where I was born. I first came back here 8 years ago to meet my own birth family, so this trip has special meaning for me. It's exciting to be back. First impressions?
Yeah, it's very colourful.
It is nice, eh?
Yeah.
It's different than Gore.
Such a long trip, so tiring and exhausting. At the same time, you're like, woohoo, finally made it, we're here.
Those are quite nice.
It's not what I was expecting at all. It's completely blown me away. How much snow there is, just the different atmosphere of the place, just everything's just so different.
That's cool.
Just taking it all in and seeing the people and the town and people speaking a different language. You can't just walking by people and go, hey, what's up?
I mean, I spoke fluently when I was 5, but now it's just like, what?
Do you feel like you have some sort of connection here now?
It feels home and it feels natural.
It does feel like home for you.
Yeah, it does. In some strange sort of way.
I always say, just take it as it comes. The journey is yours,
Yeah,
and just enjoy it.
yeah. I am very enjoying
That's
it.
good. That's good. Victoria has finally made it to her homeland.
Selfie.
And tomorrow, we are hoping to visit the orphanage she left when she was 5. But there's a catch. The orphanage is actually in the nearby city of Severodvinsk, which is home to Russia's nuclear submarine industry and a sensitive military area. Foreigners are forbidden without a special permit, and they are notoriously difficult to get. We couldn't get an answer on a permit before we left New Zealand, so we've had to take a gamble on this trip. I've learnt from my own journey that respect for family is hardwired in the Russian psyche. And now we've heard that the caregivers at the orphanage are keen for Victoria to visit, which gives me hope that we won't be turned away. But we won't know until the morning if the gamble's paid off. After an anxious night, I get the call we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Against all the odds, we have access to Severodvinsk and we are on the road and on our way to the orphanage. It's incredible to have been granted this permission that allows Victoria to finally reconnect with her past. I've roped in Anastasia, a family friend, to help as a translator. I know this is a huge step in Victoria's journey, revisiting the orphanage where she spent 3 years of her life.
I've been told there's some ladies there that remember me from when I was younger and there and spent a lot of time with, but I don't remember them. Maybe I will when I see them. I'm not sure. So we arrived at the orphanage and we walked in and there was a whole group of ladies standing there to greet me. I was like, wow, I didn't expect so many ladies to be there, but they were so happy to see me. And
they too were working with you when we were here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my
they
God.
They were taking care of you. Yes.
Wow. The ladies are just so lovely. Tatiana?
Yeah, she's also a magician. She's a magician and she's also was helping you to recover.
Oh, because I was sick.
Yeah.
Thank you. Natalia, I think her name was, she stood out to me the most. She came up to me and gave me a big hug and Vika, Vika. I was just like, ah. She grabbed my hand and walked me down the corridor, and apparently she used to do that when I was younger too. Like, I don't remember, I wish I could, but it felt right for some reason, strange way. Not much memory, but good memories from what I do remember, yeah.
So the best they were placed
I remember sleeping in a room together. Yeah, I remember this room.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so they took us into where the children sleep, and there was beds all together there still, so they obviously still sleep together.
You can go anywhere you want. Just look and touch something, maybe.
Look and touch.
You can go, yes, look and touch.
Oh my God.
That's the room you were sleeping in.
It's just putting the pieces back together for me and just slowly understanding everything, and yeah, it's good. It feels right. It feels right.
I think it's a big thing to revisit these people. They looked after you for the first 5 years before you were adopted.
Yeah, they did, yeah. And the lady said that I was very sick, so she looked after me.
That's what they do, yeah. They make sure that you're okay, and then they give you a head start in your life.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's just, it's so, in my heart, it makes me so happy because, you know, it's from being a mother having to give up her child to that, it's just hard to explain. I'm sorry. Tell me about me in the orphanage and anything about it. I don't know.
Вика была очень ласковая, любила сидеть на коленях, когда вот прижиматься.
You were a very tender girl. You were like sitting on knees, hugging people and all this stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to say a big thank you to you. She loved you really much when you were young. They wish you really good things.
Wow, it was amazing. I know they were like going to be happy to see me, but I don't know how happy. But yeah, it turned out great. Especially Natalia, I think her name was, yeah.
So Natalia, I noticed that she was holding your hand.
Yeah, because when I was younger, I was sick and she led me down the hall and...
Same woman.
Yeah, it just felt like I was 5 years old again. Me, personally, I don't remember a hell of a lot from it, but I do remember, yeah, that. It's amazing, I just...
Incredible.
Yeah. I'm so dumbfounded by it. It's like, wow. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Today has been huge for Victoria. She's begun to fill in the blanks in her past. And tomorrow, she'll meet the one person with the answers to all her questions, her birth mother.
I've been thinking a lot about meeting my birth mother and what it's going to be like and how she's going to feel and how I'm going to feel. And in that perspective, I wrote down a few questions for myself in my wee notebook so that if I do get stuck, I can kind of refer back to it, because I do have a lot of questions for her. My biggest question would probably be why. I mean, I know things happen for a reason, but I still would like to know why. So many emotions going through me at the moment. I'm still really scared of, like, I know she's happy to meet me, but I'm still scared that we may not connect on the same level that I want to connect with her on. So I am, like, really excited and happy to meet her and everything, but I've still got that edge about it.
It's only 6 days since I was in Goa, giving Victoria some of the biggest news of her life.
So we've made contact with your birth mother.
Like many adoptees, Victoria has a lot of questions.
I don't know why she hasn't reached out.
I thought about it a lot, and I did have a wee bit of anger.
She's travelled over 16,000 kilometres, from New Zealand summer to Russian winter, in search of answers.
I've been thinking a lot about meeting my birth mother and what it's going to be like, how she's going to feel and how I'm going to feel. I mean, I know things happen for a reason.
It's always been a mystery, really, isn't it?
But I still would like to know why. So today is the big day, the day I've been waiting for all my life. I'm so... Oh my goodness me. Oh, my heart is so fluttering right now.
Becca.
I don't want to look.
Becca, are you ready?
No. For a moment I paused.
Oh.
I don't know why I paused. It's just, I was just scared for a moment. I was, yeah, scared.
See that woman over on the bench over there? That's your birth mother, okay? She wants to see you.
My emotions.
No.
My heart.
It's all yours, okay? Go, Vicka, go.
I cannot believe I'm doing this.
Over here.
Where am I going? The whole way that I walked down there, I didn't look at her, I looked down. I probably did that because when I looked at her, I wanted to make that instant connection. Oh, I'm already starting to cry. And when I finally got to hug her and see her, and it was amazing. It felt right. Because I know she felt the same way, and it's just it's just made me whole again. I've just had that missing part of my life all my life, and it's come together. It's perfect. I don't know how to explain it.
Amazing. The minute Victoria and her birth mother looked in each other's eyes, it's just, I can't even explain it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And seeing that connection right there in front of you, you almost feel like it's changed your life.
She doesn't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to say.
Она тоже не знает, что вам сказать.
I'm speechless.
Она говорит, я потеряла дар речи.
Я тоже.
She's too speechless. You're the same.
Я просто не думала, что так может получиться.
She really didn't think that it can become like this.
No. I just don't believe it. It sounds so surreal. I never thought it would happen so
Не
soon.
может в это поверить, и она реально не могла подумать, что так скоро все это произойдет.
But I'm so happy to meet you.
Она
It's
очень счастлива встретить вас.
complete to me.
Она говорит, это меня как бы дополнило, завершило.
Да, я вообще думала, что меня, думала, что не простишь никогда меня, что такое сделала.
She really thought that you will never forgive her for that she's done that.
When I was hugging her, she said to me that she felt like that I'd never forgive her for what happened, and I just wanted to understand and know what happened. I'm sorry.
In the city of Arkhangelsk in northern Russia, Victoria has just met her birth mother for the first time since she was given up to an orphanage at 2 years old.
It's just it's just made me whole again. It was amazing.
It's been a huge day so far for Victoria, and everyone is understandably very emotional. And while she is enjoying her birth mother just being there, she still has a lot of questions.
I've met Mum and gave her a hug and things like that, and then we went back to the hotel and we just sat down and talked. I don't know where to start. She put me in an orphanage, how old I was when I went into the orphanage. What was it like? What happened? Why? Just everything around that.
Я же что ты говорила, так ты можешь перевести.
She told me her story before, so she just asked me to translate it. You was put in the orphanage when you were 2.
Родилась девочка больная очень, и мне еще даже, когда мы лежали в больнице, мне уже предложили от нее отказаться. Но у меня была еще старшая дочь, и потом я вышла на работу, и вот пришлось Вику отдать в детский дом. Тем более меня еще вызывали на суд, лишили родительских прав. И все, и после этого как-то вот.
The government take their rights for for this child, so she didn't have rights for you.
Okay.
In 1994, Victoria's mum was 25 and struggling after the breakup of her marriage. She didn't have the resources to give her sickly infant the medical care she needed.
Я себя потом винила, что так сделала. И до сих пор как бы вину себе.
It was really difficult that time, just to raise a child with so many illnesses. So she was strongly advised to put her child to the orphanage, just for you to have proper medical help and all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that, now that I know.
My mother couldn't look after me because I was sick, and so she gave me a second chance at life. That's the way I see it.
I've always known that I have a sister. I don't know anything about her. I don't know how old she was or anything.
Она знала, что у нее есть сестра. То есть информации они никакой не имели, соответственно. То есть она знала, но не это.
Ну, тем не менее, сестры нет уже.
Your sister is dead for 15 years already. Yes.
Они гуляли там, компании, на дачах, как бы там. Она спала, а мальчик где-то нашел ружье старое и наставил на нее и выстрелил в голову.
And he put the gun to her head and make her shoot, yes. And yes, it was kind of an awful story. So she's not alive now.
That's so hard to process.
Так что она одна осталась.
So you're her only child. You're the only one now. She has no more children.
No more children.
No more children now.
She told me that my sister had an accident and she's no longer here, and that she got very depressed and she was alone for so long. And now that I'm here, she feels like she's not alone anymore.
Victoria's emotions have been through the ringer this morning, but the day's not over yet.
Троюродные, получается, сестры.
Your aunt and your cousins, two cousins, live here in Arkhangelsk. And she knows about you, your aunt.
About me?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my God.
So many relatives. You have many relatives here. And grandpa.
Gosh. I started crying and gave her a hug, and I gave Dadushka a hug. So cute. And he put me on his knee and he was so happy and I was happy, and it was just so magical, like just being there with them and feeling like a family. It was amazing.
We're really pleased that Vika got to go to Russia and meet her birth mother. It's a really great opportunity and we're just so pleased for her. Couldn't be happier.
Setting out on a quest like this, you have to be prepared for anything. There are always hurdles. It's always a roller coaster of emotions.
It's something that I think she'll get a lot from going forward, and yeah, it's been exciting to see her go on that journey.
Victoria discovered some devastating news about her sister,
He put the gun to her head and make her shoot, yes.
but at least she now has closure on that chapter of her life.
I think she's really sort of been, particularly in the last few years, struggling with where she's come from and what she's about, and I think this will answer a lot of questions for her, and we're really, really thrilled for her.
I'm a different person, I feel, in a way. I'll talk to Mama and just keep in contact with her and send lots of photos of the farm and, yeah, just share my life with her now and grow a strong connection with her.
Ну, общаться, да, само собой. А так, не знаю даже. Тем более очень далеко, так поэтому я даже не предполагаю, что может быть. I plan to come back at some stage. I haven't decided when, but I'll plan it and save up money, and I'm so happy. Yeah.
You know, it's a big thing for her to be able to connect back with a birth mother, and I think she'll get a lot from that.
I really hope that she can go back again and meet up with her again sometime.
We've come to the end of our journey with Victoria, but hers is just beginning.
So since going to Russia and meeting my birth mum, we talk every day and we've grown a stronger connection with each other. I send her photos every day and she sends me photos every day. And I am learning to speak Russian, so when I go back at the end of the year, hopefully I can speak to her a bit more in Russian. And yeah, I'm just so thankful and happy that I've had this experience. And I can't wait to go back and see her.
I'm Alex Gilbert, and I spent the first 2 years of my life in a Russian orphanage. In 1994, I was adopted and brought to New Zealand. I had a great Kiwi childhood, but I couldn't help feeling like something was missing. So 8 years ago, I set out to find my birth family.
Привет. Hello.
It was the best decision of my life.
Hello.
And now I help others do the same.
So how can I help?
I have tried to look for a family and I've had no luck.
Do you have any memories from the orphanage?
No, I can't remember a single thing.
Countless people across the world, just like me, want to reconnect with their missing families.
I'm really happy for her.
Welcome to St. Petersburg.
It's more emotional than what I've ever considered.
Good luck. Join us on these amazing journeys as we cross continents to see families reunited. I'm here in sunny Los Angeles, California, to meet Daria, who was adopted into the USA 22 years ago from Russia.
So I live in Los Angeles, California, and I love it. I've been out here for like almost 3 years now. I model and act out here. One week I could be booked every single day, multiple times throughout the day, and then the next week, not too much going on. I'm either super busy or like super relaxed.
The move to Los Angeles from his small town in Michigan has been huge for Daria.
I feel like I'm living the dream. I just put a lot of pressure on myself, so I'm like, I want to do more and more and more. Compared to Michigan, my life in Michigan, this is definitely the dream. Yeah.
She's a long way from the confused and angry 6-year-old who arrived in Michigan in 1997 with vivid memories of life in St. Petersburg, Russia.
I have a lot of bad memories over good ones. I remember living with my birth father up until I was around, I think, 4 years old. He was an alcoholic. I think he was like depressed, if I have it right. I would just remember him coming home and like being drunk. My mom wasn't around. I've just been told that she had passed away.
After her adoption, young Daria started to process these memories by keeping a journal.
I don't remember actually writing in them. It seemed like I would like write these stories, these memories that I have, I would draw them out.
They include details of life with a birth father.
He one time like offered me vodka and I was like maybe like 4 years old or something. And I was like, no, like I knew I can't drink that. There was one time when he took me fishing and it was nice because I'm like, oh, he wants to, you know, take me out and do something with me. I remember that moment so intensely.
That fishing trip was to turn 4-year-old Daria's life upside down. Her dad was injured landing a swordfish and took Daria with him to hospital.
The nurse had noticed that I was being, you know, probably neglected. I was malnourished. I think I had lice. I just wasn't being taken care of. And she took me into an orphanage, like right then and there. They were not good experiences. As soon as I got in there, they shaved me bald, like immediately. Completely bald. So, and I think it's because I had lice. And then I went in and I saw the other kids and they were all laughing at me and calling me a boy. And it was just a horrible experience right away. I just remember always asking where my dad was.
Over the next 2 years, Daria was sent to 3 different orphanages. She never stopped asking for her dad.
And then in the last orphanage, he did come to visit, and I was very mad. I was very angry. I was very stubborn. I think it was a short visit, and I don't know if it was like to say goodbye or to like send me off or like to show me that he's trying. I was just so angry and just so upset.
That short visit was the last time Daria saw her birth father.
I've been a very bitter, angry, stubborn kind of person. My birth father coming to visit, I think the stubbornness started from there. You know, and even in the back of my mind, I'm like, was I so stubborn that I pushed him away? But I can't, I can't blame that on myself. I was a child, I didn't know. I would just want him to know that I'm okay. And I love him. And I do forgive him. And I think about him all the time.
Daria has no memory of her mother or any other family member, and at the age of 6, she was taken to the USA for adoption, away from her country of birth and her only connection with the birth family.
When I was adopted and I flew out of Russia, I felt that I was leaving something or someone behind.
Daria's new life began, but not surprisingly, she found it hard to fit in.
The family was very family-oriented, and I've never really had that experience. A healthy family or safety, stability, I haven't had any of those things. It was a lot for me to take in, and to me, it was too much. I was like really overwhelmed.
The family was unprepared for dealing with a traumatized child in need of special care and attention.
I was just very problematic. I had probably like PTSD or, something like that. And I didn't know how to express what was going on because I was still so little. And I had all these emotions built up. I didn't know what to do about it, so I was acting out. I needed a lot more care, and love was not enough.
Despite all, Daria became deeply attached to the family. She was devastated when Child Protection Services eventually intervened to move her.
I just was really sad. I was just really sad. This is all stuff I guess I haven't really thought on too much. Yeah. I think I was just really sad because I was like, I guess I didn't feel good enough even though I love them. I knew I was like causing trouble. So I blamed it on me.
Daria had already experienced more than her fair share of rejection and loss. She needed a family that could accept her and nurture her with love and understanding. In a small town in Michigan, William and Nancy Rodenberg were planning to start a family.
Having children was always absolutely part of our plan.
2, probably. And it just wasn't in the cards for us.
We were a little surprised to find out that we weren't able to have any. We got into the adoption program. It didn't need to have to be an infant necessarily, but we were scared about, getting an older child that might have a lot of problems or something like that, because we had never been parents.
But on a visit to the adoption agency, William was shown Daria's picture.
So I brought the picture home. I was all excited. I showed it to Nancy and I said, "This is it." And she's like, "Pump the brakes, slow down."
Well, I just got home from work. I still had my coat on and my purse on my shoulder. And he's like, look at her, isn't she cute? And I was like, whoa, that's a big baby.
So yeah, then that...
She was 9.
After a little consideration and talking and things like that, we decided to move forward with it, and thank goodness we did.
Daria now needed to try and adjust to a new family once again.
We just really allowed her to have her own space, let her get comfortable at her pace. You know, we didn't try to smother her or tell her it was going to be okay or anything like that, because it's not okay.
With the Rottenbergs, I would just tell them thank you. I guess thank you for giving me that space. Even though I didn't know I needed it.
Daria put her past behind her. Life was finally falling into place as she grew up with the Rottenbergs. Eventually, the family adopted again, and Daria became an older sister to 2 brothers. Like many adoptees, as Daria entered her adult life, she became more preoccupied with her past.
I just feel really alone. And I know I have people around me. I know I have people that love me, like my family, my friends, but I feel really alone. And it's because I have this piece that's not answered and a void, and I need answers. I need them. A lot of people in my life have told me, you have to be okay with not having answers. And I don't agree with that, and I never will. And I am owning that, and I'm proud of that now, because that's not okay. I'm not okay with that, and I'm never gonna be.
Daria, hello.
Hi.
So this is where I enter the picture. Daria's reached out to me for help finding those answers.
And, you know, all my friends and family are telling me, like, what has happened has already happened, and I can't change anything about it. And I think the fact that I have memories that's what's keeping me so passionate about it.
So I understand you've already done some research on your birth father. What did you find?
Basically just my birth name, which is Valentina Anatolievna Eremenko, and my middle name would mean daughter of Anatoly, so I figured out that my birth father's name must be Anatoly Eremenko.
So you have to understand there is a bit of a risk. It can be hard and we may not be able to find anything. What would you think if we did the research or we tracked something down and he wasn't alive anymore?
I'm very gut and heart feeling. I think he's alive, so I'm really going with that, but I would definitely be devastated, and I would want to just have answers on what happened with that too, and I would want to know about his life.
This is going to be a challenge, not just for Daria, but for me. Her childhood in Russia was chaotic, and after 20 years, there may be nothing left to find. LA-based adoptee Daria has vivid memories of her early life in Russian orphanages.
I just remember always asking where my dad was.
She was taken to the US for adoption and never saw her dad again.
I would just want him to know that I'm okay. And I love him.
I've taken on the challenge of trying to track down Daria's birth family. Daria reached out to me through I'm Adopted, a charity I founded to provide a support network for adoptees around the world. My own search to find my birth family has given me a head start in helping others, but Daria knows so little about her background that so far I'm stumped. I've put feelers out through social networks and my contacts in online adoption groups, but now it's a waiting game. Daria's scraps of information did allow me to narrow down the area of St. Petersburg she came from, and that could be our best hope. I can only get so far at a distance.
Hey, Alex.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Here, come on in.
So it's time to break the news to Daria and see if she's up for a trip. I have been trying to find some information about your family. It's one of the hardest searches I've ever done.
I figured, I know, I tried.
And at this stage, we haven't found anything right now. I have a plan, though. The thing that we need to do now is actually go there. Me and you need to go to St. Petersburg, go back to the place that you were in, the home, and try and find some information like that.
Okay. Okay.
You'd like to do that?
Yes. Just thinking of St. Petersburg, yeah. Definitely, I want to go back.
It's hard when you're not there, and And the best way is really, the only way is just being there and going through all the processes. Well, I'll talk to my friends, they're willing to help. So we'll do all that.
Okay.
And we'll make it happen. That's all.
Okay.
Returning to the country she was taken from as a hurt and angry 6-year-old is a huge deal for Daria.
It's just scary that it's like actually coming together.
You really want to find your roots, and that's what this is all about. It's a very personal journey, but we adoptees are very aware that we are not the only ones affected when we try to reconnect with our birth family.
Definitely my dad is gonna be happy for me. I think he's gonna feel like he's losing part of me too.
Prior to me going to see my birth parents, my mum and dad were very anxious about me going. I felt like, you know, I was kind of letting them down in a way. You get that feeling like I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Of course, every parent's going to be nervous, thinking, oh, is she going to stay there? Will she come back?
Yeah.
My parents.
We just haven't talked about it, but yeah, I'm sure we will.
Every parent gets anxious about it. What do you think if we go there, we don't find anything?
Talking about my story and like understanding everything I went through my own self, like I've been reopening myself up and not being as closed off, but I still, you know, it's still a part of me that I want to work on more. And this has been really good just for that, not just the whole, just Russia and everything. But this has been good for me, so.
Hopefully we can find your birth father and find out what happened to your birth mother.
Mm-hmm.
That's my end goal, and I'm not going to stop until I find something. Okay?
Okay.
That's all right?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Hey, no worries. A few months and 24 hours of travel later, Daria finally makes it to her birth city, St. Petersburg. So much history here, and I know Daria can't wait to take it all in.
Liking this area?
I do. It's really pretty. I feel a lot of things. Excited, surreal. It's a lot of sensory overload. You can't prepare for that. That's a physical experience, especially with the memories and stuff too. I felt like I'm home again. Like I felt content, but also a sense of unknown. It's so beautiful downtown, it's so beautiful, but I also feel disconnected because I don't remember a lot of it. And I wish I did. It's sad. You know, also think in the back of my head, like, well, what if I have birth family here and they don't even know I'm here and I don't have access because it's been so difficult. And scary because I don't know what's gonna happen and how I'm gonna feel. But also really excited because everyone is so excited for me and excited to just connect to Russia as a whole.
The first step is to visit the birth and registration office to see what information they have on file. Daria has to be here in person as it's private information that they can only provide to her.
I really was hoping for an official document that kind of stated Valentina Eremenko, my Russian name, my birth name. Even though that's not answering any of my story, it would make me feel, I don't even know, validated.
But today delivers Daria's first big disappointment. The document she's given only has her American name from her first adoption.
I was expecting Valentina Eremenko at least printed or something, and a nice document. You know, when you see something like this, it's just like, that's not me, so it's like, this is like fake. It's not my choice. Yeah. It's not my choice. I think that's the biggest part, so. They basically were passed down some info, they just withheld it or threw it out or whatever. So it sucks. I mean, it would have been great to have a stack of information of anything on my, you know, previous identity, but I understand that's not how Russia works.
So far, there's a deathly silence from the Russian communities I've reached out to on social media. I'm holding on to the fact that I've just found out the name of the area where Daria was born. Then, just as we are running out of time, we get a breakthrough. I'm helping Russian-American adoptee Daria to track down her birth family.
When I was adopted and I flew out of Russia, I felt that I was leaving something or someone behind.
Me and you need to go to St. Petersburg.
Okay. Okay.
The official documents we were counting on proved to be a dead end.
They basically were passed down some info, they just withheld it or threw it out or whatever. What if I have birth family here and they don't even know I'm here and I don't have access?
But the call I put out on social media has finally paid off. Thanks to a local contact, we now have the address of where Daria lived with her father before she was taken to the orphanage. I've asked my translator Lada and local orphanage volunteer Nagiza to help me check it out. On the way in, we were lucky enough to meet one of the original residents.
Я первая въехала в эту квартиру свою. Первая.
А вы кого-нибудь помните с пятой квартиры?
Нет, они уже давно все вымерли.
No, I don't remember anyone from apartment number 5.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Let's go to the apartment.
Luck is with us again as we get to Daria's old home just in time to catch the current occupant on her way out.
Камера, скажите, пожалуйста, вы когда-нибудь слышали, что вот с 89-го года по 94-й год здесь проживала семья Еремина?
Я бы с удовольствием, если бы знала, что ты сказала. Ничего не знаю. С 1992-го, сейчас 4-го. Да, дело семья, я не сказать не могу. То есть была квартира выставлена на продажу, мой супруг ее купил. Вот я могу сказать, что, видимо, это была социально неблагополучная семья. Но все, что я могу сказать, что мне квартира досталась в таком плохом состоянии.
So the apartment was in a very bad condition. There was fire, there were drunkards there, and there were cockroaches everywhere.
Очень страшно. Дверь была другая, да, она вот на одной петле вот так.
Yeah, the door was barely closed.
Можно было заходить, кто хочет. У меня вот очень долго приводили квартиру в порядок.
Или в дверь? So someone was knocking on doors at night and trying to call.
К нам приходили, звонили в квартиру по ночам.
Somebody was knocking on doors here.
Yeah, during 3 years.
For
when
3
they moved
years.
in, yes. So they were like old friends of Daria's parents, supposedly.
We are no closer to finding Daria's birth father, or even whether he's still alive. But everything we've been told does back up the disturbing memories that Daria has of life with her dad. It's time to fill in Daria on what we've found out so far.
Well, we've been able to get some information for you over the last few days.
Okay.
Daria, what names do you know of your birth parents?
I think I have an idea of my birth dad's name. My middle name would have been daughter of Anatoly, and then my last name Eremenko, so I assume Anatoly and Eremenko.
You're right, your birth father's name is Anatoly, and when you were born, he was 41, so he's 71 now. And your birth mother's name was Evgenia, and she's 64 now.
So old.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just makes me like feel, I don't remember him being older. And it makes me feel like there's just, like he's not alive.
I always had this idea of they were younger and couldn't make it work, poverty and all these things, just rough life. But I think when you're older, I have this different perception that's like, well, why couldn't you get it together more? So it really just shocked me.
We've also got an address of where you were before you went to your first orphanage.
Okay.
So I think.
I'll definitely know. I have very vivid pictures in my head about it.
So you'd like to go and see?
Yeah, it'll put all the pieces together that I always second guessed.
And you've never known any of that information?
Only my memories.
Only
That's
memories,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have the confirmation though, and to physically be here too, even though it's a lot to experience it and actually know I'm not really crazy and I had this experience. It's almost like me not believing sometimes and me second guessing all these things, but I would write about it and journal it, but then I'm like, well, was I just making things up because I'm little, or was this like very true and real?
Before we go to the apartment, we visit Daria's first orphanage, now transformed into a kindergarten.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels familiar, but I don't know if I like remember where would I have like walked in. I remember walking. I'm like, that's the main thing I remember is like walking from somewhere.
Come down this way.
Там был вход. Раньше туда заезд был, да.
Yeah, I don't remember all of this. I think I just like probably stored it all away. Because this, I don't remember. I remember the walk over here. I don't remember this. That's where I left my birth father. That's what matters. That's what matters. I don't know if I'll remember more things inside. I've always had this fantasy idea that a lot of us adoptees have is I was wanted, I wasn't given up. I truly have always felt that way, like I was taken away from my birth father. It's just so weird. It's so weird being here. The first thing I felt when I came in was like my heart sank. Like I've been here before. Yeah. I don't remember it, so it's very weird. It's hard to explain how it feels. I don't see anything that rings a bell, but I feel it, and that's enough.
Exploring her past brings up mixed emotions for Daria as she begins to process her memories and her feelings about her birth father.
Just the fact that he came to visit me in the last orphanage, I've always really held on to that, and I'm starting to feel a little bit reassured that it was love behind it, even if there was bad memories. I've always felt that, but I think me being here I'm processing how difficult the system is, and it makes me also sad that if he is still living, that there's probably a lot of pain that he's lived because of that, just as much as I have.
Tomorrow, we'll take Daria to revisit the apartment building where she lived with her dad for the first 4 years of her life. Russian-American adoptee Daria is desperately trying to reconnect with her birth family after being adopted at the age of 6.
I just feel really alone.
Being back in St. Petersburg is triggering difficult memories of her early years.
That's where I left my birth father. That's what matters.
After visiting the site of her first orphanage, we're now going further back in time, taking Daria to the apartment block where she lived with her dad.
Yeah, this is where you were raised, right in this apartment block right here.
Wow.
What do you remember from this area?
Yeah, I definitely remember building and then playground and then another building. Yeah, I mean, I remember coming over and I was always by myself, like my birth dad always left. I remember the playground. I did not want to play with any of the kids. I was like, I'm beyond this. Yeah. I feel like at peace here, and also I'm like, no doubt, I know where I'm at, and this is exactly how I remember it. The playground was exactly what I pictured and I remembered. I don't remember playing in it. I remember having a sense of feeling like I have to be older. I can't play, I have to act older, I can't be a kid, I have to take care of myself. There was no toys, there was no TV, there was nothing, and my birth dad was an alcoholic, and I had to know how to be an older person. I don't choose to stay mad at that. I choose to forgive that. So that's why me being back here, I can do that. I can do that. I've held on to that for so long. And I don't know, like, where he is or what happened, but, like, I just have love. At the end of the day, I have love. Because I don't know what he was going through, so I can't blame him. But also, yeah, it sucks. Like, I didn't deserve any of that. And I didn't have to grow up so fast.
I've not been able to contact the current occupant since my first visit, but we decide to chance our luck on getting in.
Wow, okay. Upstairs?
The second floor.
Wow, I remember this. Oh my God. It was a really weird feeling when I was walking up. I actually felt like a physical, I remembered where I was, and I turned and I saw the door and I'm like, whoa, like, I remember this. Ah, this is it. Oh my God. Wow. It always felt so much higher up, but I'm sure, you know, being a little kid, it felt so long, the stairs and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely it though. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. It was a sense of relief to see all this, but I think I remembered it so well that it was also just, oh yeah, this is it. It was real and I felt very at peace. Even though it's been so much time, it feels like all the memories and the pictures that I have, just kind of connecting those pieces was very satisfying and sad.
Luck wasn't with us today. No one's home. I'm going to have to break it to Daria that we've reached a dead end in our search for her family. But just as we are leaving, Nagiza gets some news that changes everything.
Nagiza just got a phone call and we found out you had an auntie that was coming here and she was helping you somehow. 1994, 1993 were hard times in Russia and your auntie just couldn't adopt you because she also had her children and she just couldn't support anymore. That's why you were placed into the orphanage.
Она существует, эта тетя, и мы ее нашли.
And so she's still alive and we found her. And she lives in St. Petersburg and we know the address. They actually found 2 aunties and 1 cousin.
Oh my God, oh, that's awesome. First, I'm thinking this is insane because it's been so many dead ends and it's all happening now when I'm here and it's just really intense and just a lot of questions, you know, and I'm also thinking like, how much do they know about me? Do they remember me? Does my aunt remember me? I hope she was close with her brother, my father. Like, I hope that I can get some information and connect and that they are open.
The address Nagiza has been given is actually for Daria's cousin. Incredibly, it's not far away, so with only a couple of days left before we leave Russia, we head straight over there. We are arriving out of the blue, so Nagiza goes ahead to make the first contact.
I'm shaking. I'm like so nervous.
It's unexpected for them.
Yeah, I know.
Unexpected for you.
I know, it's gonna be a lot for them too. I'm thinking about that. I was freaking out. I just remember I was shaking. I was so nervous, and I don't think I've ever been that nervous in my entire life. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're there.
She's talking.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like she's going in. She's in.
But what did she say? What did she say to her to even get let
Must
in?
be good stuff.
Very scary. I don't know how she's gonna respond. I don't know if she remembers me. I don't know how much of a shock it is. Yeah. Ah!
So what happened?
Сейчас, через полчаса, через 20 минут приедет ее двоюродная сестра, кузина.
So we're just waiting for your cousin to come right now?
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
We don't have long to wait.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Наргиза. Дело в том, что Анатолий Еременко знаком вам?
Ну, это дядя.
Родной дядя.
Да.
Чтобы не вводить вас в шок, я сразу скажу. А вот его дочь, которая его ищет, которую усыновили ее, когда ребенка сдали в детский дом. Ее вам никто не говорил, бабушка не говорила, что была племянница?
Ну, я знаю, что была усыновленная.
Усыновленная, вот это она.
Как зовут сейчас?
Дарья, а была Валентина Еременко, Валентина Анатольевна Еременко.
Валентина была.
Валя, Валя, вот это она перед вами. Привет.
She gave me a big hug, and then we were walking back and forth, shaking. I'm nervous.
Я в шоке сама.
How does
Да,
she remember?
А как, вы ее помните или вы просто слышали?
Я вообще столько слышала. Я и дядю Толю только помню. Я знаю, что дядя Толя приезжал последний раз, его видели на похороны бабушки. Потом связь оборвалась.
Okay, so you had two aunties. The first one, she's dead, unfortunately. But the second one lives a little bit far from here, but we're gonna call her.
Как мама-то на это отреагирует?
Вот я не знаю, честно. Я в шоке до сих пор.
Daria's dad is still elusive, but we are finally getting somewhere. Tomorrow, Daria will meet her auntie and find out what she can tell her about her story. We've had our first real breakthrough in the search for adoptee Daria's birth family. We are now heading a few hours south of St. Petersburg. We are on the way to meet Daria's auntie, her dad's younger sister.
Scared, terrified. Yeah.
After more than 20 years, Daria is finally getting a chance to reconnect with her past.
It was just so scary not knowing anything about them, but they know about me, and I had this feeling that they over love me. Like, it was gonna be too overwhelming for me. And I have a hard time accepting that, and it's a lot. Just the openness and the love, I'm like not ready to receive that. I was never expecting to meet anybody, so it's a lot of pressure.
The moment we arrive, Daria's Aunt Alina is waiting.
Привет.
Девочка моя. Ты моя куколка. О, shaking. Господи, радость моя, боже мой.
What is she saying? She's saying, you're my sweet one, my honey.
I'm shaking. Oh, man. I've never hugged anyone like this. This deep, so quick. Oh my gosh.
She says you look like your mom.
Oh.
Yeah, she was beautiful and sweet and not so tall, just like you.
Short.
Yeah, she saw her a couple of times. Your father was tall.
Ты помнишь папу-то? Ну, похожи мы.
Do you remember your dad?
I don't remember how he looks.
Искали тоже, Наташа тоже, дочка моя, искала. И тебя искали в соцсетях.
They were trying to find your dad and also you via social media, but they didn't get anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, for how long?
Насколько долго вы искали?
Ой, Наташа.
So since 2015, they were trying to find.
There's much more to come as we move inside to meet other members of her family.
This is for you. Пожалуйста. This is so nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh.
Анатолий.
Of your father?
Да.
Wow. Yeah, boy.
Да, 71, это сестре было бы.
So this is
Это
your father.
я, это Галя.
He was small, and this is your other aunt.
Auntie brings out the photos, and I just was not prepared. It was very fast. It happened very fast, and then all of a sudden she's like, "This is your birth father. This is Anatoly."
So this is your
Вот
dad.
Галя, вот
This is
там
the photo from the
написано.
army, and it's written to my sister Alyonushka from
А брата
Toda
Иванушки?
for the memory of my serving in Germany.
17.
Yeah, he's 18 here.
It's just so crazy to see a photo.
Такой
It's
хороший
very
парень, но он
crazy.
закурил только перед...
I could see myself in him. I could see the face. And that was really cool.
The last time they saw him, it was in 1993. And then he disappeared, and he was at his mom's funeral.
Oh, wow. And have they been searching and just
А вы
doesn't
искали
know?
же, да, его?
Конечно.
И ничего не нашли. Yeah, they've been searching, and they made a request to the police or something. Yeah, but nobody can figure out where he is.
Yep.
This is his
Надо такую?
diploma.
Прямо художник.
So he liked drawing.
А
He was a good
как он из дерева
painter.
делал все эти статуэтки, всякие
Yeah, and he was
штуки.
carving out of
Из
wood
дерева,
some
прямо.
statues.
Wow.
Его дедушка
Artistic. I
украинский
get
научил.
that from him.
And then like his behavior is like A+. His behavior was A+. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, so he didn't drink. He gave all the money to
Покурить.
his parents. I guess.
What happened? What you say?
He didn't drink. He gave all the money to his family. So he was a good guy. He was supporting the family.
Хороший парень такой был, прелесть.
He was a good man.
I just remember him drinking all the time. I do forgive him because I didn't know that I had to forgive him when I first started this journey. I'm really focused on the moment of when he came to visit me in the orphanage. I don't know, I feel like I would want him. I don't want him to like hold guilt either, because I feel like he would. If it's like the same blood in us, like I feel like he could, you know? If he's still alive and like holds all this guilt, because I don't know why he visited and left. I don't know if he was trying or what it is. But he visited, and that's huge to me. So it's like I know that he loves me and he was at least trying to do something. So I know, I hope he didn't like hold guilt all these years.
Сами занимается.
Then they're asking you about the family.
А френд, как называется парень? Бойфренд есть?
Oh, you guys are so funny.
Снимай. Снимай.
I feel very loved. I do. I feel overwhelmed with it right now. And the information. I'm a puzzle piece in this story just as much as they've been searching. And now we can, you know, share this in common and share this together.
Спасибо. No, don't cry. We'll stay in touch somehow. I'll figure it out. Oh, I can't handle it.
Думаю, кто там пристроился.
I can't handle.
After years of feeling abandoned as a child, it's never been easy for Daria to trust and open up to people.
I don't know how that feels, the unconditional love. I can't comprehend that yet. Biologically, it's very different. It's very natural and it's not. There's nothing more. It's very different than like adoptive family. It's a different type of love. It's very just natural. That's all it is. No effort at all.
Вот сразу сколько родни.
And it feels very amazing, but it's also going to take a lot of time to process and accept that I have family that I found, because like that's pretty insane to me. This is something that most people have naturally, and I've worked my whole life for this, like my whole entire life.
Daria's found both a closure of sorts and a new beginning. She has one more thing to do before returning to her life in LA.
And when I lit that candle, it was just for both my birth mother and father. Kind of just to say, like, I'm here and I did this. I did this for them. I reconnected to my memories, and that's what has been the most traumatic part of my life, but also the most full circle.
Daria's experience was life-changing, and now she's helping other adoptees connect with each other as an ambassador for I'm Adopted. I'm Alex Gilbert, and I spent the first 2 years of my life in a Russian orphanage. In 1994, I was adopted and brought to New Zealand. I had a great Kiwi childhood, but I couldn't help feeling like something was missing. So 8 years ago, I set out to find my bird family.
Pivot. Hello.
It was the best decision of my life.
Hello.
And now I help others do the same.
So how can I help?
I have tried to look for a family and I've had no luck.
Do you have any memories from the orphanage? No, I can't remember a single thing.
Countless people across the world, just like me, want to reconnect with their missing families.
I'm really happy for her.
Welcome to St. Petersburg.
It's more emotional than what I've ever considered.
Good luck. Join us on these amazing journeys as we cross continents to see families reunited. I'm on familiar territory today in the far south of New Zealand. My grandma lives here in Invercargill, and I've spent lots of family time down here. But today isn't about my family. Anya, hello.
Hello.
So nice to see you.
You too.
Should we go for a walk?
Sure.
I'm meeting 27-year-old adoptee Anya Gibson.
Take a seat.
And it's not for the first time.
Now, you know that we did actually meet here over 20 years ago, just over there.
Did we?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got a photo. Have a look.
Oh. Oh, look at that. It's we're so little.
Do you remember that?
No, can't say I do.
You don't?
No, sorry.
I remember it very clearly. It would have been the first time that I'd ever met anybody else adopted in Invercargill.
Anya may not remember me, but she does have vivid memories of her childhood in a Russian orphanage.
I can walk into somebody's house and they're cooking like mince and mashed potatoes and it just takes me back to the orphanage. It's really weird.
Timmy, come here.
Now married with 3 children of her own,
Good try. That was just about.
Anya was brought to Invercargill as a 4-year-old.
I have some awesome memories growing up in New Zealand. A lot of time at the beach. Lots of good memories. Spending a lot of time with cousins and barbecues and lunches and sausages and bread. Tomato sauce.
Got mayo.
Family has been a big part of Anya's life in New Zealand.
We are a close family. There's 4 of us that are adopted. Me and my brother Matthew, we're 2 years apart and we were adopted at the same time when I was 4.
So we've always had our sort of bond growing up together.
Best buds to this day.
Yeah, no, she's good value. Great sister, very loyal. Will have your back 110%, which is good, which is what you want in family.
Look at her eyes and stuff.
Ross and Marnie Armitage couldn't imagine a life without children. So when they couldn't conceive, they first tried to adopt in New Zealand.
For a start, you think, oh, every phone call, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be a baby. And then after a while, you think, oh, it's never going to happen.
Then a chance meeting introduced Marnie to my mum. Mum told her about adopting my brother and I, Andre, from Russia.
There'd been other people who'd gone before us, and we'd met as
Alex and Andre's mum.
And so we'd seen that this could happen. And then once we got the information, I ran with it. He was busy working and I ran with it. But yeah.
And I would count it as being probably the bravest thing we've ever done.
That's right. It was. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Pictures in a video soon arrived from Russia.
So we saw this little picture of this little girl. She was all dressed up for the photographs in her Thomas the Tank Engine pyjamas with her shaved head.
Had nits, and so the quickest way in an orphanage to get rid of nits is to shave your hair. So they just shaved your head. So yeah, I was bald.
There's a whole weight behind those big sad eyes. It's like you look at that and you think, oh, she looks like she's hurt. And can you be a mum?
But there was just something about this little girl that already had Marnie and Ross hooked.
Oh, we just poured over and rewatched the video of her coming in and talking in this little soft voice.
I think when
You're beginning to bond, actually, by watching that video. You're connected to it because of it. It was good.
The trip to Russia was a big adventure for the Armitages on their first overseas trip together.
We were there for 2 months. We thought the whole procedure would go through in that time, but it didn't.
Mum and Dad spent weeks visiting me every day. They spent a lot of time at the orphanage with me.
Yeah, Ross, waiting.
Hello.
And I would get told, this is going to be your new mama and papa. They're going to take you home. That you're going to be their child. And then one day they just stopped turning up.
The man that would sign it all off, it was the summer holidays, so he was gone.
Ross and Marnie had run into a bureaucratic roadblock in St. Petersburg.
They said, the adoption's not going to go through because the governor's on holiday, nothing's going to be signed, you might as well go home. And we're like, what? Anya was 3.5, coming 4. She knew we were going to be her mama and papa. She has connected us with that, and we were connected with her, and we thought, wow, we're going to carry on trying to adopt her.
And we'll come back for her.
Mum and Dad had to travel home.
We tried to get the caregivers to tell her what was going on.
They explained to me, but of course in a 4-year-old's mind, I didn't understand. And I remember getting out of bed in the middle of the night and going to the window and looking for them and wondering why they weren't there.
Which is, awful, but you know.
That was hard, and I used to get punished because I used to get caught out of bed looking for them. Soap in the mouth was the punishment. They shouldn't call it a cake of soap. It doesn't taste very nice.
Although things had ground to a halt in St. Petersburg, Ross and Marnie were able to travel to a different area to adopt Matthew before they returned to New Zealand.
We had decided to adopt 2 children because we thought it would be good to have a family, and it might be our only opportunity, and we wanted a boy and a girl. We adopted our son Matthew and came home with him.
They saw her first, but I got across the ditch quicker.
I have been told I was very put out and sulked.
Marnie had to make 2 more trips to Russia before Anya finally arrived safely in Invercargill.
I remember getting off the airplane at Invercargill and there was a big group of people waiting for me.
Got her to have a wee rest, and she had a tear. And I thought, oh, she'd come out of Russia and she'd been on this big plane. It was just like, tough. But she's stoic. She got there.
I don't think I could have done what Mum and Dad did. I don't think I'm strong enough to be able to do that. So I take my hat off to them. It was pretty big.
And she held Ross. I've got my father. She was so proud of herself. It was, yeah.
The new additions to the Armitage family caused quite a stir in the local community.
She got a lot of attention from being from Russia, and that was exciting, and people were very kind, weren't they?
I did feel different, but I took pride in being different. My children don't know much about Russia, but they do know that I'm from Russia and they know that I'm adopted. They know they have a connection to Russia, and for me it's really important they know who they are.
I'm actually quite proud of being part Russian myself.
I don't tell them I'm part of Russia.
Well, you're my sister, so they know.
Finding out more about my Russian heritage would be amazing. They're my family, and family is family.
So Anya, what do you know of your birth family?
I know that I had a mum and dad who passed away. My mum died of heart failure, and I believe my father committed suicide on Christmas Eve the same year. I have a grandmother and a brother and sister who I'm trying to reconnect with. At the age of
3 or 4, I was put into an orphanage by my grandmother. But my brother and sister continues staying with her.
She's available for adoption because she's an orphan.
I'm not sure why I was put in an orphanage and not them. It might have been easier on my grandma.
Oh.
My brother and sister were 15 plus years older than me.
And you've been back to Russia?
Yes, so I went back when I was 10.
Where are we going?
To Russia, and today's the day.
Yay! It's taken a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's really great.
Yeah, it is.
In 2002, Anya's parents wanted to adopt again, and the kids went with them.
Here's Anya. First night in Russia.
Being 10 and being a little bit older, that's where a lot of my memories of Russia come from.
Anya and Matthew are happy. They've had a good sleep each.
We actually managed to visit my grandmother and my brother at the time.
Look at this beautiful feast.
She put on a lovely afternoon tea and she'd gone all out.
Beautiful.
Oh, she was over the moon.
It's amazing.
She was, yeah. She was happy to see her.
And Anya's brother was there.
My sister wasn't available, so I didn't manage to meet her. But at that point, we got to know a little bit more of my story.
Margarita is father's mother.
With the help of an interpreter, the family filled in some details of Anya's story.
It took great pains to sort of try and explain why she put her in the children's home, because obviously that was a difficult decision to make.
Муж мой дед 6 лет тому назад умер. My husband died 6 years ago.
Oh. Was that about the same time?
Same time as Anya.
Anya was in the children's home.
I had to be their guardian.
Yes.
They were 17, 13, and 3.
There was quite an age gap, so we could understand why the grandmother had put Anya in the orphanage.
I also had club feet, and I needed surgery to be able to walk.
On the legs.
The only way that she could afford to give me that surgery was to put me in an orphanage and let the government take over the medical care of me and my feet.
She can walk.
I felt like she held a lot of guilt for what she'd done, what she thought was best. And I'd want to tell her that it was okay. I don't hold any resentment. I don't feel angry at her, and I know that I have a much better life over here than what I would have over there. Russia is a hard country, and they would have lived a hard life, and I know that when I visited them, I could see that on my brother's face. When I met him at 10, you could tell that he had had a hard life and it wasn't easy for him. I'd just liked her to know that it was okay.
So how can I help?
Well, it's been 17 years since I last had any contact with any of my family, and we had a translator who we had used for years, and when I came back from Russia, he passed away the following year, and so we actually lost contact with my family. I have tried myself, trying to look for them through social media and stuff, and I've had no luck.
It's a big part of you and your family, but why now?
My children, this isn't just about me anymore, it's about them knowing their heritage and knowing where they come from and who their family is as well.
I think, yeah, we have 2 grandmas. I'm pretty sure we have like 3.
Well, it's been 17 years, and to be honest, it is going to be a hard search, but we can see what we can do, and hopefully we can make that happen.
Thank you.
Anya's case is an unusual one. Her birth parents died when she was very young, and the translator, who was her only point of contact, is also dead. I have a feeling this is not going to be an easy search. I just hope we can find someone, anyone from Anya's family. Adopted from Russia aged 4, young Invercargill mum Anya is proud of her Russian heritage.
I did feel different, but I took pride in being different.
She wants her children to know more about their family background.
They know they have a connection to Russia.
And she's reached out to me for help in reconnecting with lost siblings.
I'm really hoping to find my brother and my sister. Hopefully they have children. I'd love to be an auntie to some children.
Anya's birth parents are both dead.
Look at this beautiful feast.
But she has a video of meeting her grandmother and her brother on a family trip to Russia when she was 10. But after this trip, she lost contact when the interpreter, who had been the go-between, suddenly died. Anya's given me all the documents her adopted parents had kept. And now I'm trying to fit all the pieces together. But as I manage to connect Anya's information with official documents, I'm getting answers that don't make sense.
I'm back here in Invercargill to see Anya, and what I'm about to tell her could change your life.
Hello.
Hi, Alex. Come in.
Oh, thank you. How are you?
Good.
So I've been doing some research and trying to find information on your family in Russia.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, it's been really hard to find any supporting evidence that you are related to your brother or sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky case.
Yeah.
They might not be related to you.
That's a bit of a shock. Surprised, to be fair. I thought that it was a bit like, I thought I've always known that they were my brother and sister. Like, quite black and white. I thought that, yeah, but that surprises me. The fact that they may not be.
That would be hard.
I'm not saying that they are not your brother and sister yet. We
Yeah.
just need to find that connection, because at the moment it doesn't stack up. Even in regards to your grandma.
Yeah.
All of that about the address that you're staying at before you went to the orphanage, it just doesn't make any sense at the moment.
But there's obviously some family connection. And if they're not my brother and sister, then who are they? And yeah, where do I fit in?
That's the thing that we're trying to work out.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's not set out clear.
Yeah.
So we need to work on that.
Years I've been looking. I've had friends searching social media and using their contacts to try and find something.
It's a very challenging story, very challenging case.
Yeah.
And we do have an address.
Yeah.
That your mum gave us.
Yeah.
From years ago.
Mum was a great documenter, and she's documented everything that she knows.
I believe that we have done everything we can here in New Zealand so far. And the next thing is, I need to really go to St. Petersburg, and I really need you to come with me.
Okay. That's a big thing.
It's a big thing. You're
Yeah.
okay with it?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. It'll take a bit to get my head around it, but yeah.
It will sink in
Once we're there, yeah.
once we're there.
She does get nervous about those sorts of things. You know?
Yeah, she does actually.
You know, chews the old bottom lip a wee bit sometimes when she's really nervous, and you can tell.
Ross and Marnie know this trip will be a challenge for their adopted daughter. But if there are any answers to the mystery of Anya's past, they will only be found in Russia.
Whilst we're family, we're not blood, and we thought that would be quite helpful to reconnect. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really good for her to meet her brother and sister again as an adult.
My kids are pretty excited. They would love to go. I'll tell strangers in the middle of the supermarket that they're half Russian. And the people in the supermarket are like, oh, yeah, okay, yep, I'm half Russian, they say.
To get to Russia, I thought it was 30 minutes. Actually, it's probably more like 30 hours. Like a year.
As it turned out, William's guess was spot on, thanks to unforeseen events.
We were supposed to go to Russia a year ago, but we couldn't because of the pandemic, and it's still like that today. There's not many people here at all. So I'm all checked in, a few more hours to go, and then I'll be boarding the plane and heading to Russia. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. It's just all so different, the emotion. I'm anxious, but I'm also very excited about what's to come.
The thought of going to Russia is very surreal, considering it's been a year and it's taken so long to get to this point.
I wish I was going with her.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It is really exciting.
We hope she finds what she's looking for.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and we support her.
Anya will be joining me in a couple of days, In the meantime, I'll be following up some leads that can only be pursued on the ground in Russia. Being here alone will give me the chance to look into some unexpected results from my initial inquiries. The official records I've found don't match up to Anya's memories. I've got some serious concerns about Anya's family tree.
Good try, that was just about. My children are very proud of the fact that they are half Russian.
Young Invercargill mum Anya is on a mission to reconnect with her birth family.
Anya, hello.
Hello. I'm really hoping to find my brother and my sister.
Anya is about to arrive here in St. Petersburg. It has been well over a year, and I can't wait to see you.
Hello. Welcome. We've made it.
Finally.
Welcome to St. Petersburg. Let's go.
It's taken so long to get to this point. There were moments where I was just ready to give up, really, to be honest. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not going to go anywhere.
It's warm, yeah? You feel it?
It's just completely different. None of the airport or anything felt familiar. Seeing Alex was really good. I felt like, okay, now I can relax. Bye. I really take my hat off to my mother who, 24 years ago, when there was no cell phones and no instant help in your hand or your pocket, travelling halfway around the world to pick up a girl who was 4, couldn't speak English, and having to do it all by herself. There is no way I could have managed it without cell phones. Or having that instant, I don't know what I'm doing, let's just Google it. Yeah, I'm very impressed.
The next morning, I bring Anya up to speed, briefing her on our first task of the day.
Last time we spoke, do you remember I explained to you about the biological connections and how they weren't making sense? The connections were not matching. So right now we need to go to the birth registration office, see what we can find. Potentially we might find something out of this, we might not, but we've got to give it a go. How do you feel about that?
Good, yeah, really positive.
Her family tree is still difficult to figure out. I'm hoping a trip to the birth and registration office will bring to light some new information.
Should we go in?
Yep. We're looking for some sort of paperwork, I guess, or paper trail.
It's a short and frustrating visit. Local orphanage volunteer Nagiza explains the problem with the help of translator Lara.
So we will just prove that you were adopted with this birth certificate. That's all we can get with it.
Nagiza, ты думаешь, не новая информация?
Родители будут те, кто ее усыновил вот в этом ЗАГСе.
So the parents returning the certificate will be the new parents.
Потому что старых родителей лишили родительских прав. Они не относятся к ней уже. И твою маму в отношении тебя лишили родительских прав. И только после этого в детском доме пришли иностранные родители твои и взяли тебя, ну, усыновили тебя и изменили тебе фамилию, имя, отчество.
It's like a new identity. So what happens
And the previous one is nullified. You no longer exist as this person.
Right. Anything after my adoption has been wiped, and it's just the way that it is in Russia. It's a little bit disappointing that it didn't go anywhere.
It wasn't really the outcome we wanted, but we do have other leads that we can go with. So this isn't a dead end. We can try and get some more information, and hopefully we can put the puzzle together.
While I followed up a couple of leads on the ground, Anya took in the sights of St. Petersburg.
So it's actually not as difficult to get yourself around as what you would think. It's very welcoming and friendly and very warm at the moment because it's summer, so it's like 30 degrees plus, which is not how I remember it. So the last time I was here when I was 10, it was winter and it was cold and it was snowy and it was dark. The buildings and the insides of the buildings here are just stunning. Very different to the new countries like New Zealand. You can see the history walking down the street.
Anya spent the first 4 years of her life in Russia, and those early years form a huge part of who she is today.
It doesn't feel alien. I'd be quite happy to live here. It feels familiar, it feels safe, there is a connection there. I find when people around me are speaking Russian, in my head I reply to them in Russian as well.
Instead of saying yes, it's da or niet for no. I'm quite impressed with myself, actually.
While Anya's been reconnecting with her birth city, I've located her old orphanage.
I have not much or any remembrance of family life, but I do remember the orphanage very vividly.
Tomorrow, we'll be revisiting those childhood memories.
I was put into an orphanage by my grandmother.
I'm not sure why.
28-year-old Anya has travelled from Invercargill to St. Petersburg in search of answers. It has been very difficult to find any evidence that you are related to your brother and sister. My research so far has only deepened the mystery.
And if they're not my brother and sister, then who are they?
Today I'm taking Anya back to the site of her orphanage to see what she remembers. But first, we are stopping off outside the apartment building where Anya's grandmother lived. Sadly, my research has confirmed that her grandmother died a couple of years ago.
It's a wee bit sad that I missed out on seeing her, but I honestly didn't expect her to be alive anyway.
How do you feel actually being physically outside the apartment?
Don't know.
You do?
I don't know. I don't know how to, yeah. I don't know how to process it, I guess. I have vivid memories of the inside from when I came back when I was 10.
Grandma doesn't live here anymore, so we haven't been able to get access back in just yet.
We were told that when we came back to visit, that my grandmother she hadn't put me up for adoption. She'd put me into the orphanage and she had every intention of coming back to take me home again. But when she went back, I'd been adopted out.
And she didn't want you to be adopted out?
No.
She wanted to keep looking after you?
Yes. I remember my grandmother as being quite cuddly, very, very caring and loving. You know, I think she probably did feel quite guilty about how it played out. She said that she had never given permission for me to be adopted out. Quite a shock to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't normally just get adopted out without permission. It looks very different to what I remember.
What do you remember from it?
Well, the last time I was here was winter, so it was very cold.
Well, should we go and take a look at your old orphanage?
Yeah.
I think you might have some more memories there. All right, let's go.
As soon as we pulled up and I saw the gates, I knew exactly where we were. Like, it wasn't even a hesitation. I just was like, yeah, that's it.
You remember this area quite clearly?
Yeah. The orphanage is probably the place that I wanted to visit the most because that's where I do have my most memories of Russia.
Anya's old orphanage now has a new life as a police college.
Hasn't really changed. It's maybe not as tidy or as kept well, but it's definitely recognisable.
When we came here just now, what stories came to your mind?
I remember a security man, and he had a German Shepherd, and they used to sit at the gate all day and all night. He was quite a kind old man, which is probably why I remember the security gate. That's where the dog sat. Yeah.
So these have always been here, these gates, these fences, yeah?
Yeah, definitely the entry. And I remember when Mum and Dad came to Russia and they would walk us down this pathway. And there must be a playground.
You remember the playground?
Yes.
Who was the woman that looked after you in the orphanage?
I remember there was a lady named Luba. She used to come in and I think her shift was in the evening.
Yeah.
And we all used to look forward to her coming because she would come in with candy.
Oh, really? So you're waiting for that moment?
Yes, and she'd give us a hug. And I think that's what stood out was that your carers didn't obviously give you physical love, affection. Yeah. But where she didn't care, she would always come in and give us a hug, and she'd always have candy for us. And she was quite a cuddly woman too.
Yeah. You were quite sick in the orphanage. You said you had an operation.
Yes, I had club feet.
My grandmother, when she put me into the orphanage, was because she knew that was a way to get me the help that I needed and to get my feet fixed. I had Thomas the Tank Engine slippers.
Did you?
That. Yes, I did. I was very proud of my Thomas the Tank Engine slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had to put me in an orphanage to get that done for me. Would have been pretty tough on her. This is where I wanted to go, because it's the first memories I have.
First memories?
Yes, and they're very vivid, very vivid.
I think it's important for you.
Yes. Seeing the orphanage made me feel like better, I guess, in some way, because I'm not making it up in my head like it is how I remember it.
Just as we're about to leave, there's a surprise for Anya. Some of the women who used to work at the orphanage knew we were visiting today, and they've sent a gift.
Supposedly, this pallet was in the room where you lived. And in the back it says, Dear Anya, for the memory of the staff of the orphanage, number 12.
I was only here for a short amount of time, but this is very special, and I will treasure it. Thank you. Spasiba. Spasiba. Seeing the orphanage was quite significant. What was all I remember, all I knew before I was adopted. The carers seemed to care, were emotionally invested in the children, I guess, is how I felt when I was that age. The vibe of the orphanage was nice.
Anya has a lot to process from today, but in the morning, I have some news for her that will challenge everything she thinks she knows about her birth family.
So Anya, I've been doing a lot of research on the ground throughout the last couple of days. And I know that the family connections that we have looked at do not make sense. But I've been able to put the puzzle together and create a family tree. So I've got some information here of your biological family. So your birth mother, Tatiana, she was married to Vladimir, and Vladimir was not your birth father. We don't know who your birth father is. So
We don't know who my father was.
we don't know.
Right,
Now, they've had two children, Alexander and Natalia.
right,
And then afterwards, your birth mother had a different partner, and then you were born.
right.
So Vladimir is like your stepdad, and then your siblings are like half siblings. So they are siblings, but not full by blood. The grandmother is Vladimir's mother.
So Margarita, my grandmother, was my stepfather's mother.
Yes, that's
Right,
correct.
okay.
She's not your biological grandmother. She is related to you by marriage. It's like your step-grandmother. She ended up looking after you, Natalia, and Alexander at that address. You remember Alexander?
Yes.
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 And you were told that he was your brother?
Yes.
So essentially, he is your brother, but it's the same mother, but different father.
I've been told after all these years that I had full brother and sister. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a shock to realise that who you think people are not who they are.
Now, your birth mother's added Vladimir to her birth certificate because you have to have a name on the certificate, even though Vladimir is not biologically your father.
I see now that my mother had to put a name down on the birth certificate. She chose to put his name down even though he was not blood related. So we have no idea who my blood father is.
That happened in my case.
Yeah.
My birth mother knew who my father was, but she didn't want to say, but she had to put a name on the document.
We've never really talked about my father. Like, there was no question at the time of who my father was. Yeah, it's taken a bit to process that we actually don't know who he is.
It's taken a little while to connect the dots and figure it out. Right now, we're trying to locate your half-siblings.
Yeah.
Alexander, he has disappeared without a trace, and we don't know where he's gone, unfortunately. But there is a cousin in the family, so his name is Alexei, and he looked after your grandmother until she passed away. Now, Alexei would like to meet you.
Yeah.
Would you like to meet him?
Yeah, I'd love to meet him. Yeah.
The last couple of days have been huge for Anya, and tomorrow she'll meet her cousin Alexei for some first-hand family history. young Invercargill mum Anya has only been back in St. Petersburg for a few short days.
The buildings are just stunning.
But in that time, everything she thought she knew about her origins has been blown apart. Vladimir was not your birth father. We don't know who your birth father is. It's not just Anya who's affected by these revelations.
Wow, that's quite different than what we expected. Yeah.
I've been communicating with my mother in New Zealand.
To hear that her grandmother had died was sad, and then to find out that her grandmother wasn't biologically her grandmother was a bit of a shock, actually. And the fact that her father was not her real biological father, it's on the documentation, that was a shock to us.
It's just blown it all open again, and you think, oh,
yeah.
We were hoping she'd find some sort of resolution, but now we've just got more questions.
Today we are meeting Anya's cousin Alexei. He's the vital link to the family that Anya remembers.
It's the first real physical connection I've had with any relation over in Russia since I was 10. He remembers me. He remembers playing with me. I don't remember, but he remembers. So that will be interesting. I feel very nervous. I feel like that 10-year-old.
Alexei, Daria, this is Anya.
Аня, привет, привет. Я внук Маргариты Сергеевны.
Nice to meet you.
Это моя жена, Дарья.
They seemed to be as nervous as I was, which kind of put us on even footing, I felt, so that was quite nice.
Anya's been really interested to learn about Grandma.
Что я могу сказать? Бабушка была такой интересным человеком, характерным достаточно.
Your grandma had a really strong personality.
Да, у нее сложная судьба.
She had a hard life.
Много смертей.
When I met her when I was 10, she was very warm and welcoming.
Ну да, так все и было.
Yeah, that's true. She was like that.
She just enveloped me in a big hug.
Ну, бабушка в целом, она Аню воспринимала как внучку, хоть они как бы кровными родственниками, в принципе, не являлись, но бабушка очень сопереживала вообще судьбе Анны, да.
She took me on and looked after me as best as she could at the time. She didn't have to do that. I was the step-granddaughter. I mean, I wasn't any blood relation of hers.
Нет, ну вот да.
Yeah, so there is a family album, and there are a lot of pictures of you in New Zealand, and there is a letter.
Бабушка это все хранила.
Yeah, and your grandma, she kept all of it as a memory.
Dear Grandma Alexander and Natalia, how are you? I hope you are all well. I have just finished doing homework. It is very slow and boring, but has to be done, unfortunately. Looks like I was maybe an intermediate. Yeah. I actually remember writing the letter, and I think I wrote it out 5 times because it wasn't neat enough. It amazes me that she kept this letter. Brings up a lot of emotions that, like, she must have cared about me a lot to keep these. For somebody to hold on to a piece of paper for 18 to 20 years and all the photos showed me how much she cherished those things and those memories and the little parts of me that she could get a hold of, I guess, being halfway around the world. So I found that quite overwhelming. Yeah, very special.
И вот много очень фотографий, посмотри.
Yeah, you can just look through.
Получается, сын бабушки, он был отчимом Анны, да. Но бабушка, она чувствовала ответственность за ребенка. То есть она ее полностью, ну, как бы свою душу подарила как родной внучке. То есть не было каких-то разграничений, свои, не свои. И она действительно ее очень любила.
She was always thinking and talking about you.
It makes me feel more emotional knowing that she wasn't blood related, but she did put so much effort into making sure it was okay.
Yeah, she perceived you as her grandchild.
In my mind, it was very practical, very black and white.
My parents died, I got adopted, I wasn't abandoned, I wasn't unloved. It was just fact. So for me to now come in and be like, oh, your grandmother loved you so much that over the years she talked about you, she hid all these things from you, it's like, it's more emotional than what I've ever considered or thought it to be.
It was very special to see that Alexei had held onto the photos and letters that had been so precious to their grandmother. That meant a lot to her. It's almost time for us to leave St. Petersburg. But first, Alexei and Daria are taking us to say a last goodbye to grandmother Margarita.
This is her.
Угу.
She looks so young.
Она выглядит как вы.
Вряд ли.
He was obviously very close with my grandmother. Saw her probably more as a mother than as a grandmother. And I think he cared for her very deeply, and you could tell that.
Здесь похоронен муж, это муж бабушки, мой дедушка.
So this is her husband?
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful resting place. You miss her?
Вы скучаете?
Very much.
Да. Особенная женщина.
Особенная.
Lot of love. If I could be a tenth of the woman she seemed to be, I'd be happy.
No one can know exactly where they'll end up when they set out on this journey.
This is птичка Киви.
Рад тебя увидеть был. Я надеюсь, не первый, не последний
He
раз.
was happy to meet you. He hopes to see you again. And your family too.
I feel like I can take on anything. I feel like I've come all this way to do something that I was terrified of doing, and I've done it.
Yeah, well, she did it by herself, and I felt that she seemed stronger as a result of doing that. Yeah.
It takes courage to face up to the past and put your own sense of self on the line.
Right from get-go, when I believe when I was like 4, I'm very good at emotionally shutting myself off for the whole adoption thing.
She's a survivor. I think that little girl with sad eyes knew she had to survive.
I didn't need to be emotionally invested into it, but here we are. Yes, somewhere deep down it unlocked some emotions.
Anya still has a lot to process, but now she knows the truth about her family, and a new connection with her past is very much part of her present.
I have kept in contact with my cousin. We're getting more and more familiar and comfortable with each other, which is really nice. We talk about everything and nothing. He's really keen to come over and see New Zealand, so that's definitely on the cards. I still don't have any more information or know who my birth father is, but I am definitely keen to go down that avenue and see if there is something there to find.
Next week, I take LA-based model Daria back to her birthplace in St. Petersburg.
What if I have birth family here and they don't even know I'm here?
20 years on, memories are still raw.
That's where I left my birth father. That's what matters. That's what matters.
And the search for long-lost family.
I don't think I've ever been that nervous in my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Next week,
In our adopted family, there's 4 of us that are adopted.
I take young Invercargill mum Anya back to St. Petersburg.
She must have cared about me a lot to keep these.
Uncovering a mystery.
The family connections do not make sense.
that transforms everything.
Who you think people are not who they are.
Next week,
Being from such a small town, everybody becomes family at one point.
Erin from Iowa
I'm pretty sure that I do not have siblings.
finds a surprise in Siberia.
It's life-changing, like, it really is.
On a trip with even more revelations
Прости меня.
for her adoptive brother.
The father was crying. He didn't know he have a son.